Good evening to you all, the great people of Ambazonia. Good evening to you all, my beautiful children. Welcome to today's episode of the interview. Today actually won't be an interview. It will be a panel discussion. We're going to take you into a journey of what's happening in Cameroon. So you might say, wow, what is it all about? The auctioning of Cameroon? Is Cameroon up for sale? Yes, it is. And you need to know what's going on. Today, we will have a panel comprising of incredible people. We have very known faces. You have our mother, Mabia, all of you know who she is. We also have the chairman of Ambazonia Governing Council UK Mission, Comrade Roland. He was the former spokesman of the Ambazonia Governing Council, an incredible voice, a patriot, a strong activist, and an advocate for the Ambazonian people. So just brace yourself for what's coming, because it's not good for Cameroon. It's not. And so let us introduce you. Let us first of all start with our mother, Mabia. Good afternoon, Mami.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, good. So, do I have to say, well, we just greeting? Okay, greetings to all my Ambazonia people and to anybody who is listening.
All right, Comrade Roland, we are seeing you. You look sharp. You look like you have your reverend outfit, or this is your liberation outfit, and you also have your own bling hat. Put it on, sir. and good evening to you,
my venerable spokesman, Mabia. It is indeed a privilege to share the platform with you people. Nothing gives me joy than to see that Ambazonia is free, and I know you have the same position. Mabia has the same position, like the leader that we follow, Dr. Ayaba. I just told an enabler the other day, maybe one thing you don't understand is I'm ready to die for Ambazonia.
Well, with that intro, let's get this rolling. All of you and all of us, and including the entire world, it's shocked at the stupidity and what is going on in Cameroon. Please just take a few minutes, or maybe a minute or two, and give us an overall appraisal of the political, economic, social, cultural situation in Cameroon. Let's
Come
start
again.
with you, Mami.
Huh?
I said, give me an overall appraisal of the political atmosphere in Cameroon, the leadership in Cameroon, the economic, the financial situation. In fact, how's the social situation in Cameroon? Just give us an appraisal of how things are in Bias, Cameroon.
Okay. So, I will start by the fact that most of the things Cameroon is facing now started from the wrong decisions that they made in the beginning. First, by taking down some of the things that were already in existence in Ambazonia. We had good electricity, we had airports, we had things that were functional. When he decided he was going to dismantle all of those things and take them to La République du Cameroun, that was already a big mistake. You cannot concentrate power in one area and expect the whole country to survive. After that, we, the Ambazonian people, said, no, we do not like the situation in which we are right now. We need to break away from these people. So we requested for this to happen peacefully but La République du Cameroun or Paul Biya did not think we, the small amount of people or 1 cube of sugar or 2 cubes of sugar, as he calls it, was going to be able to do it. So, of course, he did his heels and said I was going to fight a war. And that's what we're going through now. What has that done to his country? Now his country is in so much debt from borrowing money, trying to run the country, borrowing money, trying to run a war. The country has completely collapsed. The people are suffering. What I'm going to be talking today is I will try to highlight to the people what kind of suffering they are going through. Because sometimes just knowing about, oh, your country has borrowed millions of dollars doesn't make any difference in people's minds. Or sometimes just telling them, oh, electricity is not there. Oh, they say, oh, we are used to that. They don't understand. We have to paint the picture for them to understand how losing these things, the impact it has on their life. Both living a long life or dying short life because of a country that cannot take care of you. So it's all tied together from that big mistake of dismantling a country that you said, we were for brothers, we are in a federation, you dismantle them, and then now to the second effect where you're borrowing money again to suppress that country, and now you are the one suffering. We're going to talk more about that.
Well articulated. All right. Now let's get to you, Comrade Chairman Roland. What is your appraisal of the state of the atmosphere in Cameroon?
Yeah, just to continue with what Mabia just said, that Cameroon made a mistake. I see it differently. You know, Mabia is talking with somebody with a pure. That's what Ambazonians are. They always see you and think you're a good man. Cameroon never made a mistake. It was a calculated act. You know, I know you are saying it from a pure heart because you see them like brothers, like sisters, but they see us as some nothing people that they can just deal with anyhow. So it was a well-calculated attempt, which they have not been able to execute. And up till now, they are still working in that illusion. Cameroon is highly fragmented. You know, and the stupidity in it is that their sustenance depends on Ambazonia. So it's like your source of living, you are destroying it. That's exactly what Cameroon is doing. Politically, they are highly fragmented. Mabia, you want to tell them what is happening now? I want to tell them what is happening in their future. Now there's going to be a political fight between Gongo and Frank Biya. Who is going to be the next head of state of Cameroon? There's a political wahala coming on that country. The economic poverty is something minds have not imagined. I fear Cameroonians will get to the place where they start eating human flesh. I'm afraid. So Cameroon is politically unstable, economically damaged. So I hold it from there at this point.
All right. Before we get into the depth of things, the studio, please bring us that video of the lady selling in the market and telling the international community and warning the Cameroonian people what is about to happen to Cameroon. Let's roll the tape.
Par rapport au 8 mars, si tout dépendait de moi, ça ne devait pas exister. Parce que là où nous sommes, le pays est mauvais. Les gens ne font que mourir. Il y a la guerre à Bamenda. Et ici même, nous vivons mal. Par exemple, voilà ce que je vends. Le sac par exemple, le sac de Carole là, nous on a acheté avant 8 000, 5 000. Maintenant, on paie le sac de Carole à 30 000 dans ce pays. La boîte de poireaux, on paie la boîte de poireaux à 6 000 à Sandaga. Quand on paye comme ça là, vraiment, moi-même, je ne sais pas, j'ai pitié de mon corps. Parce que nos enfants même qui partent en mariage maintenant souffrent. Tu vois, par exemple, les jeunes n'ont pas de travail. Les jeunes souffrent. Pour rationner, on doit rationner 1000 francs à un enfant. On rationne 2000. L'enfant là va manger quoi? Regardez par exemple le tas de carottes de 500, dans notre pays. Vraiment, nous souffrons. Si tout dépend de moi, par rapport au 8 mars, ça ne doit même pas exister. C'est que demain, toutes les femmes soient en noir pour montrer aux gens qui sont en haut que le pays ne donne pas. Moi, disons que le 8 mars, ça m'énerve. Ça ne donne pas. Le pays ne donne pas. Et quand ça ne donne pas, il faut montrer que ça ne donne pas. C'est parce que nous sommes petits pour parler à ceux qui sont en haut que ça ne donne pas. Mon fils, vraiment, ça ne donne pas, comme je vous dis là. Tu es là, tu souffres comme ça là. L'enfant part à l'école, il part la licence. Il rentre encore au marché souffler avec toi. Il rentre au marché, tu portes la tomate. L'enfant pousse sa part dans la bouette. Tandis que tu es là, tu es sa mère. Tu rentres, tu prépares, il part enceinte la femme. La femme part accoucher l'enfant. Elle revient encore te trouver à la maison ensemble. Tu nourris la fille de quelqu'un, tu nourris aussi l'enfant que tu as accouché. Tu es là, tu souffres. Vraiment, nous souffrons beaucoup dans ce pays.
Maman, on voulait que vous donniez un conseil aux jeunes filles qui vont vouloir décider de fêter, genre, ils seront agités quoi.
Non, mon fils, vous savez, les jeunes filles ne savent rien, elles sont ignorantes. Si tout dépend de moi, la fête ne doit pas exister. Parce que moi, demain, si vous venez ici, vous allez me trouver en noir. Je suis en noir. Tant qu'on vous dit là, regardez ma tête, regardez. La tête d'une femme, d'une jeune dame comme moi. Regardez mes cheveux, regardez. C'est parce que parvient pas à me coiffer. Je m'en sors pas. Le kilo de macaroni coûte combien? Le kilo de viande coûte combien? Je vis mal. Avec combien de bâtons derrière mon dos? Les enfants qui pouvaient même aller chercher, rentrer, me donner que maman, prends-moi une bière, tu bois. On ne parvient même pas à me donner. Regardez. Pourquoi une maman comme ça, elle souffre? C'est pas mon goût. Je ne bois pas parce que ça me plaît. Je bois parce qu'elle souffre. Parce que pour boire même 500, mon goût c'est la Isenberg. Pour boire même 500 comme ça là, j'ai chancé jusqu'à matin. Parce que tu dois dire qu'on va manger quoi? On ne parvient pas à manger. La banane, on vend 5 doigts de banane à 200 dans ce pays, mon frère. Vraiment, c'est malheureux. La boîte d'archi à 150, les dépilpés à 200. On vit mal. Je bois, ça c'est mon goût. Je bois seulement parce qu'il faut atténuer vraiment regarde, nous sommes au soleil. Il faut seulement atténuer la chaleur là. C'est pas parce que ça me plaît. Pour dire que je vais fêter quelque chose qui me plaît. Mais c'est quelle journée? Ça, c'est la maudite journée.
All right. Now, we've all listened. I know that that's the Egyptian language, the Bulu, traditional language of the Bulu Republic. I know that it's not an Ambazonian culture. That's not our language. We're just using this to demonstrate the consequences of Mr. Biya. The Cameroonian people are bearing the brunt, the pain, the suffering of Mr. Biya's decision. Mommy, let us start with you, please. Help us to understand how is the living condition for an ordinary Cameroonese in Cameroon?
Okay. So I will go and start with the psychologist Maslow. I think most of us, we came across that when we were doing psychology. Maslow is the psychologist that talked about human needs. Humans have some basic needs, simple ones that you need to have. You need to have air, water, food, shelter, clothing, safety. These are basic needs. The surprising thing is that in Ambazonia, we are still at these physiologic needs. Maslow had about 5 levels of these needs, and we are still at the bottom, which is physiologic needs, right at the bottom. If you move on top of these needs, it starts in the top with self-actualization. Self-actualization is the need where you desire to become the most that one can be. I think we're still not even thinking about that in La République du Cameroun or Cameroon. People don't even have to think about that. They're still thinking about survival, unfortunately. But that's where most European countries are right now, and even some African countries. You know, you talked about the Rwanda where they are right now. They are actually at around self-actualization. We have the next need, which is self-esteem, which is respect and status and freedom. That we don't have. Ambazonia people don't have. And most people in La Republique, the Cameroon, bury their head in the ground. They too don't even have freedom.
Right.
Then you go to the next need, which is love and belonging. That one, sometimes we say we do because we say we have family and culture, tradition, and so on. Yeah. Safety needs. Oh, wow. When I come to safety needs, I really want to talk about those our bad roads that we have. I want to talk about our health system, how bad it is. I want to talk about this so-called malaria that we were trying to give vaccine to people. And I don't know whether giving vaccine to people and not cleaning your backyard is going to solve the problem. I really want to talk about that too. And then, like I said, physiologic needs. How is that affecting our people back at home right now? Let's start first with Ambazonia. We had been suppressed for many years by La République de Cameroon. But what kept that land, Ambazonia, going is the children running away from that land and going to European countries. And all we did was work money and supplement income in that country. And nobody saw what was coming. Nobody saw what was happening. We were we were giving money to our brothers and sisters, and they were not seeing the fact that they did not have these needs that it is. Now that has progressed even to La République du Cameroon where those needs. So let me start from the first need, which is air. When I talked about air as being a need, actually my husband said to me, air is free. What do you mean air is a need, is free? And I looked at him and I said, air is free, but it depends on how clean that air can be. They don't have that. The country is heavily contaminated with all the trash that is thrown along the road. La République de Cameroon has borrowed money until they can no longer have money even to pay for their own sanitation to be taken care of. I think we saw a video the other day. I don't know if our panel, our people in ACTV, the tech people have that video where that truck that was carrying waste, sewage or stool was leaking it in the market. And that was in La République market. And people were holding their nose like that because of the smell from it. Air is free, but is the one in La République du Cameroun or a land free? No, it's heavily contaminated. Trash every corner because they can no longer pick their own trash. We have brought them down to their knees. It was easy to bring them down. They were already in their knees. Actually, they are lying on their bellies now. So air is one of the first one I'm going to talk about. And if the panel will let me talk a little bit about water.
Go ahead, ma'am.
Water was the second thing. Most of our brothers who ran and went home for vacation in December, some of them are just coming back. And I said, how was your trip? They said, oh, we didn't have water for 2 days. They could barely find water to drink. What kind of country do not provide that basic physiologic need to its people? In the days when I was younger and we still had a system where back in Ambazonia, where we had sanitary, we had our own pipe-borne water and everything, you could never have that situation happen. I remember you just pick your bucket from the house and go to the tap. I grew up in Southwest. And we had taps all around the place. And you just carry your bucket and you go carry water from the tap.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know who was supplying water then to the people. And then now, they don't even have taps. We are going backwards. So a country from in the 1970s, 1955 had good things. 1960 had water supply, 1970, and then 2024, they don't have water. It's unbelievable. I keep seeing our people here trying to contribute to go build what wells for people to carry water in this day and age. Wells for people to carry water. So you carry water, you have to boil it. But anyway, these people who went home, came back and told me they didn't get water for 2 days. And I laughed. And I said, yeah, we're trying to fight so that things can get better. But all you guys want to do is run home and see about your business that you want to create at home. I'm glad you didn't have water for 2 days. Maybe you should. So, so they don't have water now. In Ambazonia, they don't have water in La République de Cameroon. So they thought they were doing it only to us. It's the same thing. Yaoundé, a capital town, people do not have water to drink. That is unacceptable. That is just a physiologic need. Should be provided by every government. If a government cannot provide you with your basic physiologic need of water, that government has got to go. I will continue.
Thank you so much, ma'am. For most of you that don't know who Maslow is the father of America modern psychology. Is the father of basically the humanistic approach to psychology. That's who Maslow is. He's someone that I've studied his work in its entirety. Chairman, please throw light. Give us the gist. Tell us the fire that is in La République. What's going on in La République? As Mama has said, a country cannot even give its own citizen basic drinking water. Go ahead. Tell us what's going on.
Yeah, Mabia, I'm so grateful. You make me remember the days of, we used to call them sanitary officers from our local council. We call them NA authority. That's how we call them when I was growing up. I remember when you are by the road selling food, these sanitary officers, they come around. If your food is dirty, they throw it down. That's how Ambazonia was. We had these sanitary officers, they go around. If they just see anything which is against the health of the people, you are off the market. But that trend has changed. It's what Mabia is saying. The basic needs are no longer there. The interesting thing is, water is free. In Ambazonia, we started with community waters. People were using based on their community. But now La République came in, they brought all these funny companies from SNEC to whatever. Now water has become scarce. Like you said, someone traveled back home, living in Boya, and came back, and I asked him how was it. He said, "Man, they are rationing water." I said, "What?" I went to school in Boya. We have what they call 6 International. Water in Boya you used to drink tap water. It's like water from the fridge. And today in Boya, people go for days, weeks without water. In La République, there are taps that they run rainwater from the tap. It's rainwater that is coming out from the tap. No, unfortunately, some people are blind to see these things. Not to understand that they are going down the drain. Water is basic. This age and time, people should not be digging boreholes. No. We should not be digging boreholes. Ambazonia is full of water resources. Full of water resources. Where we need, like Mabia said, there was tap every corner of the street. You wake up in the morning, take your bucket, go to the tap, carry water. Today is the opposite. People are going this without water. If you can have basic water, what else can you have? Cameroon is a dead country. Cameroon is finished. If you cannot provide water to your people, then there is nothing the people can have from that so-called government that they are looking up to. And I'm so glad that Cameroon is no longer my country. I'm an Ambazonian, and we are people that we are so self-reliant. We depend on our potentials as people, you know. So it's really a sad thing that in this age and time, people are begging for water. While before, I grew up in Victoria. If those who know Victoria very well, you know there's where we call community field. Opposite there, we used to have what they call washing motor. There was this pipe there, we call it Tim. It was pouring out water 24/7. I mean, free water. La Republic came, they went and blocked it. They spoiled that thing, they destroyed it. We have water everywhere in our country. But because of the colonial mentality and oh my God, because of the colonialism and annexation by Cameroon, they have come into our territory, destroy everything that we got, because they want to put us at that position of beggarly people where we have to look up to them as if without them we can't have water, without them we can't have air. But that is not true. Without Cameroon, we are going to be on top of life, like Mabia was referring to the Maslow pyramid of things. We want to get to that place of self-actualization, and every Ambazonia, that's the dream for you. That's why we are fighting. We got a lot of potentials, and look, Ambazonia is
Chairman,
happening. Yes, sir.
Before we get to the potential, before we start to talk about how Ambazonia is going to be, let us first of all examine, we've talked about the social hardship, the social conditions in Cameroon. Inability to eat because of bias war in Ambazonia, their inability to clean the streets, their inability to do their own garbage, their inability to provide their people with even basic water to drink. Now, for all the Ambazonians out there, let me call them Cambazonians, because they're not actually Ambazonians, Cambazonians, and for the people of La République du Cameroun, if a country, your government cannot give you basic, just water to drink, if they can't afford to provide the population with basic water to drink, what else can they give you? If your government cannot give you basic electricity, what else can they give you?
What else can they give you?
That's something for all of you, the Camerooners, the empty heads and the loud talking mouth.
Yes.
Those are basic questions. These are questions Diongute need to start to answer. These are questions Bia need to start to answer. Before you said you want to come and fight Ambazonia, have you given your people water to drink? Before you said you want to come and occupy, not to talk of govern, have you provided your people with basic water to drink? Have you provided your people? Have you been able to clean the garbage on your streets? These are the consequences of what Mami has said. The decision to launch a war on a people. You can't govern, you can't occupy, you'll never win.
Thank you, Spokes. I think the only thing Cameroonians need to do, Cameroonese, they need to rise up. They need to rise up against that same people they call their government, their leaders. That's the only way they can free themselves. Because if they can't give you your basic need, what else can you have? There is a video that was going on in social media. You see in their theater, they have to slap the theater light I mean, you slap satellite to I'm like, what? Theater, because a theater is a place of life and death. Before you enter the theater, you sign a document. They tell you the risk you are getting into. And in that place, they have to slap theater light. They will slap it with their hand for it to come on. Come on. That's how bad Cameroon has become. That's how poor Cameroon has become because of the block by block. The war they cannot sustain. The war they cannot win in Ambazonia. Their bread basket, they are fight. If Cameroonians were wise, you can't fight your bread basket. You will protect it. But because they are being driven by some wicked spirits, the source that is sustaining them, they are fighting that source. And this is where they are going to. No water to drink. They can't clean their streets. When it is rain time, everywhere is water, even in hospitals. Hospitals are flooded when it is rain time. Roads are broken by water from rain. This is how bad Cameroon has become. You say John Gute cannot answer those questions. He has no power. He's a stooge. He's just an empty figure. But we will deliver him.
All right. Now let's move on. Before
Can I say something? Can I say something really? Okay.
Yes,
so I want to bring up the idea of conflict. What is happening now? Many people, you read the articles, you hear various countries ask, what is wrong with Africa? Why are they always fighting? And I always say, I don't know why they ask this question. Where there is conflict, there will always be no peace. There will always be war. And what brings about conflict? Inequality is one of the biggest thing that brings conflict. And inequality spans from a lot of things, color, religion, and so on. All of those things bring about conflict. What brings about conflict? Slavery. When somebody thinks they can suppress another human being to be under them, they themselves will never have peace. That's your oppressor, because you're always going to be worried these people will rise up one day. What brings about conflict? Poverty. That's what is the conflict in Africa. A lot of African countries, corruption. The people, the leaders and the elites, they steal all the money and want to go across to the white man world to get all their own health care, send all their own children to wherever they think is a better place for their children to be, and leave the whole country in poverty. The people will rise one day. So what will happen to La République de Cameroon? Or what should happen? They should not accept this position of being placed where they cannot have water to drink, they cannot have air to breathe, a good air to breathe. They need to say, we need a change. They need to rise up and say, this needs to change. But anyway, if they don't want to rise up, we just want Ambazonia, and we want to build Ambazonia where we can have those basic needs. But it boils back to where there is conflict, there is no peace.
Period. All right. Now, to what the Cameroonese mother was crying out loud in the market, when food was coming being supplied in abundant quantity from Ambazonia, she said a basket of carrots was 6,000. Now they have to buy a basket of carrots for 30,000. Okay. A bag of beans used to be about 40,000. Now the bag of beans is about 180,000. A basket of, a basin of gari, or a bucket, a basin of gari used to be how much before? By 2016, 2017, it's about 4,500 francs.
Yep.
Right now, the basin of gari in Mamfe itself is 15 to 18,000. In La République, it's about 25,000. So how do you go from 5,000 to 25,000 to 30,000? Those are consequences, as the chairman has said. The hand that feeds you, you want to destroy it. The hand that grows the food, you want to kill it. There are consequences to Mr. Bia's decision on the Cameroonese people. The smart thing for them to do is to chase him out.
Correct.
Now let's get to the political turmoil, because today we're talking about the auctioning of Cameroon. Cameroon is up for sale. Anybody who wants to buy it can go get a piece of it, because the Nordies are taking their own piece. The Bamlikes are looking for their own piece. The Bassa clan are looking for their own piece. The Dwellers are doing the same. Anybody who wants to buy a piece of Cameroon can go. They are auctioning. The seaport is up for sale to someone else. All right? One ministry is up, is being controlled by someone else. Another ministry is being controlled by someone else. The treasury is being controlled by several factions. Everything in Cameroon is up for sale. It's a country in the process of being auctioned. The IMF is controlling a chunk of it. World Bank is controlling a chunk of it. African Development Bank is controlling a chunk of it. The UK has its hands on it. The US has its hands on it. Cameroon is up for sale.
China also have their own share.
That's right. So whoever is looking to buy a country, Cameroon is up for sale. You can go buy a piece of Cameroon in a very cheap price. All right, in a very cheap price. Mr. Bia is out. It's about to get the hell out. So they want to auction everything before they go. Cameroon is up for sale. So today we are talking about the auctioning of that country. Let's get to the political auctioning of Cameroon. Chairman.
Yeah. Thank you very much. You know, when I was growing up, they used to kill elephant, and when they kill elephant, they will call the people. Everybody will go there. Everybody go take their share. Cameroon is that kind of elephant that people are rushing to get their share. But unfortunately, people like Jongute, they don't have a share.
Yep.
That's the sad thing in it. People like Jongute, all those Ambazonians.
What about a Tanganji? What about a Tanganji?
He hasn't got a share. You know, even this useless guy from Hong Kong who is now trying to seek asylum in Canada. It tells you how stupid. You know, there's one thing I don't like insulting people, but it comes to a level where you can't hold your breath. You can't hold your breath. That guy is the dullest human being I've ever seen. Now, dullness is not going to school. That's not the issue. Because Jongute is an educated man, but he's dull and stupid. Jongute is stupid. He can't have his share in that country that they are dividing like that. He hasn't got a say. That's the stupidity in it. Cameroon has been sold. It takes foreign bodies to even fight for Cameroon. Glencore is really sanctioned, but in America. That's why Glencore is receiving sanction. A country where they buy at a discount. Oh my God. They will come and buy below world market price. So they have already made profit before they even start exploiting. And Cameroonese, when they give them sardine and bread, they think they are living life. Every time they give you sardine and bread, that's your future. You are saying your future is equal to sardine and bread. That's just the message. It's true. Every time they come, they give you rice. You collect rice. Politically, Cameroon, they celebrate thieves. This guy called Gala Gerard, a thief. They are hailing him that he has done well. When he goes to his village and begins to give people 2,000 to go and march, and then unfortunately for them, they go and meet the defense forces, putting their lives at risk for how much? 2,000 francs. This is how politically insane Cameroon has become, that people don't know. The time you take a cup of rice, the time you take sardine and bread, that's what you are saying, that your future is equal to that. Meanwhile, you are more valuable than that. It's a sad thing. But we thank God that we are on the right path. This is a thief. That Cameroon celebrates thieves. Mediocrity. They hail mediocrity. But that will not be the case in Ambazonia. See people selling their future, selling their lives. That's the kind of politics they play. No, don't give people fish. You teach them to fish. They are giving them fish. So I think Mabia may have something to add to that.
Please, Mami.
Yeah,
You do.
Cameroon is being auctioned. We already talked about the politicians, how each person is trying to get their share. I'm going to go right down to the root part, the common man, how bad it is that everybody is trying to get their share of this country. We start with talking about education in that country. So this was a country, even before everything, in the days of when we were federal and we had our own system, education system was well built. Then Paul Biya came and brought about taking away everything that we had from the GCE and trying to impose the French system of education. And we all went to school, came out of school, no jobs. Half of the children were all at home. We had a filter system where those who can pass in list A, list B, they go forward, and the rest of your brothers who, by no fault of theirs, were not really dull, will be left behind. And we say they should go become tailors or mechanics and something. And then we find out actually the tailors and the mechanics are actually the ones who make the money. That's what I'm learning here in the US, not the A students who became all of those things. But talking about that, the share that they are fighting now back at home. I was listening to people call me at home. Every 3